every time the pressure rises, we play better. Let's go take down the trail.
An Ultiworld subscription gets you closer to the players and personalities you care about with game video, in-depth written and video analysis,
He's going to take off deep, but what he does is very simple.
documentary shorts,
And we've played Brute Squad before, and it just feels a little bit harder to lose this year.
and a whole lot more. To get your subscription or learn more, go to ultiworld.com/subscribe. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Ultiworld's live coverage of the 2017 U.S. Open. Very excited to be presenting this game between Seattle Riot and San Francisco Fury, a classic in the division, a long-time rivalry, and we are set to get underway here with a Riot in black pulling to Fury in the whites, and we are off to it. This is presented by the National Ultimate Training Camp, and we are underway with Fury's offense getting to work as they come underneath to Katie Ryan, and they go into the end zone. Lisa Cooper hauls it in for the San Francisco score, and it's quick 1-0.
Smooth 3-point or 3-throw 0-point from Fury, pretty consistent with what Coach Idris Nolan was talking to me about earlier in the game. He emphasized that Fury wanted to be aggressive and attack both on defense and offense. He mentioned more of the deep game, even though this was a series of unders. Well, I guess the last one's an away shot, but looks like Fury's ready to execute on that aggressive game plan.
Quick throw to Lisa Cooper in the end zone, right up the foreside.
Well, guys, let's talk a little bit. By the way, I'm Charlie Eisenhood. If you haven't been joining us already today on the now our fourth live stream of the day, I'm Charlie Eisenhood. I'm joined here in the booth by Aaron Ogren and Cody Mills. What are some of the keys to this game? I mean, you talked about what the game plan is for Fury. What about the other side for Riot?
Yeah, after talking to Coach Andy Loveseth, he shared that they're really hoping to execute on offense against Fury's forced middle. We've seen multiple times this season that that's been a go-to defensive choice for them. On defense, they're noticing Fury's fast breaks and going to try to be right underneath the disc as soon as it turns over to slow them down and make them execute and think a little bit more on a quicker basis. So he said simple, and he said they're locking down on defense. That's something they're working on this tournament, is just locking down on defense and flowing on offense. Exactly kind of what you'd expect from Riot.
I think that'll be an interesting contrast, staying under the disc with Idris's emphasis on attacking the deep space aggressively. But I think it'll be fun to watch no matter how it works out.
Julia Snyder, far side.
There's the force middle that you mentioned, Aaron.
Hits Khalees Cardenas under. Looking to the swing and getting it off to Sheena Titcomb, who bounces it along to Jillian Gaudreau.
Awesome to see Sheena Titcomb back on the field after a recovering injury from last season.
And a step into a big throw towards the back of the end zone, and it's caught. Nice throw by Nora Landry to Alex Odie, and Seattle ties it up at 1.
Exciting to see Riot attack the outside of the lanes, knowing that Fury is trying to force the middle, just as we said. Their goal was to swing it out, swing it wide, and use the lanes that Fury is isolating open, and they did just that. Taking a look at the replay, we've got, I believe, Nora Landry, easy outside backhand to Odie.
Yeah, a bit of a rough read by Katie Ryan, but it was a nice throw. Even a good read, she might not have gotten there.
Huddle on the field from Riot.
They did this before the last point also. I think it might just be a line calling technique or water. I guess they have the line, so. Yeah, you can't see it on screen, but all the Riot players are kneeling in a circle about 20 yards in front of the line.
They've done this all season, actually. They were doing this Pro League Challenge. In between every point, they huddle up on the field, see them coming off now, and they then clear before the pull that has to go up.
Are we discussing strategy or just team spirit?
I don't
or is
actually,
it a mystery?
I don't know.
Maybe it's
I
like
haven't
a
asked.
bring the team together thing, like everyone check. You know how like in volleyball, whether you win or lose the point, they all like go in huddle and then they break?
Plausible.
Maybe
I like
similar
it.
mechanism.
I like it. It's always interesting to see, especially elite women's. A lot of them introduce different spirit techniques, different team building techniques. Fury's popular for the hands up, power position approach after a point. And so there's just so many cool things, I think, that women's ultimate brings to the scene that maybe some other divisions don't.
I'm a power position truther, Aaron. I don't think it's a sham. It's snake oil.
I'm going to disagree. It's a psychologically proven technique. What a great shot. Down the field. It was wide open Huck.
Aggressive deep game. Checkbox number 1 looking to be filled.
Hoping to get another look at it. There it is. Beautiful backhand.
Yeah, that's Miri Chang.
From Meaty. She has been throwing these backhands all day long. I don't know if this is her favorite wind or what, but against their game this morning against Uno from Japan, 3, 4 beautiful full field hucks, and they have been on point every single time. So I'm hoping we'll see more of them in this live stream.
Let's catch up a little bit. How have these teams played earlier today? Let's take a look at what they've done so far and where they stand heading into this important game. Of course, winning this game is almost a must if you want to get on into the next round.
Riot played Scandal in their first round this morning. They came out strong. I believe they beat them by a handful. However, what I did notice was just some shaky execution errors on offense from Riot. Julia Snyder and a couple of their O-line handlers just weren't connecting with players downfield, but they were able to pull off the win because Scandal wasn't quite capitalizing on those turns. But Fury had an opposite game. They played Uno this morning, as I just said, and Huck after Huck on point. Uno couldn't compete defensively with them, and they had no problem securing a win. So 2 different games that these ladies played this morning, so we'll see how they match up this afternoon.
Fury also comfortably beat Heist 15-8 in the last round when we were on this.
So Riot back to work as Shira Stern swings it around. And now with Bailey Zonizer. Sarah Davis looking to the end zone. And it's caught by Shira Stern, who's having a great season for Riot. And she pulls it down for the 2-2 tie.
Beautiful shot from Sarah Davis there. OI flick as we take another look. Perfect edge, in stride for her receiver, over the crowd. Well executed throw.
I'm not sure if that was a forced middle error because they were doing that, working down the point, and then on the end zone, it was a wide open throw from Sarah Davis to that side to Shira.
Yeah, I think they might have been mid-transition because they tend not to play forced middle in the last third of the field. I'm really still trying to figure out this kneel thing. It doesn't look like they speak.
I think it's just a chance to collect yourself. So good start for both O-lines. Pretty smooth offense so far.
Yeah, Fury's O-line out here missing Claire Desmond, mainstay, and on D they're missing Cree Howard, neither of whom are injured but just weren't available this weekend. But Claire Desmond, a Team USA World Games player, and Cree Howard, a past Team USA World Games player. Not trivial absences.
Undercut from Megan Liu. Swings around to Carolyn Finney. Maggie Rudin near side. Working out of the middle. Now a big yardage gainer to Rudin. Cooper. Thought about the inside look. Finney.
Bobbled the catch, but was able to come down with it.
Cooper inside dish and a huge layout catch.
Wow.
For the goal.
That was massive. I'm excited for that replay.
Katie Ryan getting her name called a lot this game on the end of a couple goals so far, 2 out of 3. Huge layout there.
Maggie Rudin huge, absolutely huge fan. I didn't have anything to say until we saw it.
It was Bethany,
Great catch.
Bethany Kaler-esque
excuse
from
me.
the All-Star Tour.
Oh, yeah. She is here this weekend for Fury. However, I'm not sure if I've seen her take the field yet today.
Take a look at another angle on that Katie Ryan catch. Inside flick, and just huge.
A lot of heat on that flick, but Katie Ryan's there to make the
Wow.
catch for her teammate.
So early 3-2 lead for San Francisco. Riot offense waiting for the pull. We had a brief rain shower between rounds, maybe 5 minutes. And now the sun is back beaming down, and the wind has basically stopped. So we've had some interesting conditions today. I wouldn't be surprised if the wind kicked back up at this point, but right now, pretty still, calm, offensive, friendly conditions. So we take a look at that Riot O-line. Pull, tailing back towards the midline.
Good handler D from Miri Chang.
And a call as Cassie Swafford holds the disc with Dara Clancy on the mark. Pass up ahead. Steph Lim now out to the sideline for Cardenas.
Steph Lim, a former Fury player, moved to Seattle this summer and is now getting it done for Riot.
Swafford trying to find Lim, not there. Go over to Sarah Surge Griffith, who had a great World Games tournament. Inside to Cardenas. Now Lim. And backhand out to the sideline. Ends up out of bounds. So Fury will get a break chance. It'll be Opie Payne picking up to get things started, and she fires a flick ahead into the hands of Midi Chang.
I'm waiting for that backhand.
Marika Austin.
Marika Austin had a big game for Fury against the Eurostars last Saturday, cutting tirelessly all afternoon.
Chang to Payne, and Payne bobbles and drops it. So back to Riot. And
Former World Games teammates, Serge and Opie. It will probably be a fun matchup to watch this game.
high pass goes over the head of Griffith. And so a bit of a sloppy point after lots of smooth offense to start the game. It'll be Marissa Mead to pick up for Fury.
Great to see Opie Payne get the disc back after that bobble.
Mead looks to the inside reset and gets it to Anna Nazarov. Now Clancy. Nazarov. Dish to Chang. No pressure back there from Riot. Payne. Marked by Griffith. Her pass misses the intended target but gets through and into the hands of Kayla Jorgensen. Jorgensen looking and resetting to Chang.
Riot's doing a great job locking down downfield, forcing Fury to run a lot of dump sets.
Payne swings to Nazarov. Open cutter on the far side cone, and it's into the end zone from Marika Austin, and that's a break for Fury, and they're up 4-2.
Great patience out of Fury on the end zone, even though Riot was playing good D downfield. They didn't try and force anything into a tight window. They just kept running their dump set, eventually opened up a break side swing for the goal, and Nazarov can do that all day.
Continuation from Opie to Nazarov. Beautiful, easy backhand. Marika Austin.
And Nazarov, arguably the happiest ultimate player I've ever seen. She looks ecstatically happy every time she has the disc on the field. It's one of my favorite things to see. Ironically nicknamed Mad Dog, but
And she's been tremendous. Had a great season last year and high expectations for this Fury team. I think we could talk a little bit about that. These teams, this logjam at the top of these 4 teams that were in semis last year and that are clearly a cut above the rest of the competition. And this Riot team, such a disappointment not to win it all last year. It's been a really long time coming for them. They've been very close, but they haven't won, and Brute Squad comes away again the victor with a late comeback. This Fury team has had a couple down seasons after their long winning streak. And, yeah, down in quotation marks as Cody looks over here. And that's fair because it set a level of expectation when you win 7 in a row. So can they get back to the top, something maybe we can talk about over the course of this game?
True. They have been relegated to semifinals appearances the last 4 years.
Jacqueline Verju, star at Dartmouth, winning a college championship this year out on the field. Kelly Johnson with it here, and she dishes it off to Paige Soper. Soper looking deep right away. It's sitting up and dropping right down into the hands of Dominique Fontenette.
Dime ball from Soper. Fury went zone there. Soper took the upline crash on the trap sideline and just put a beautifully edged back shoulder flick over the deep into her receiver's hands.
No chance for Fury's deep receiver to get to that. An absolute incredible vision. That's something that Paige, probably coming from her upline cut, saw that space, knew that's what she wanted, turned and boosted it, and it was a perfect throw.
Finds Dominique Fontenette in the end zone, a former Fury player herself, a former Callahan winner. Someone in the Twitterverse needs to correct me on this, but I'm pretty sure this is 10 plus, or she's been in nationals for like 15 plus straight years between the two teams, won a handful of championships, and played in the semis for 15 years in a row. Pretty unbelievable.
Incredible career.
Certainly has records.
First ballot Hall of Famer.
Totally. Still cutting also.
Amazing.
Yeah. That was, I think, an r/ultimate thread a while ago about cutters who are older and have been in the game for a long time but are still on elite teams, and she has to be the headliner for that. Yeah, she's 42. She's been Masters eligible for 9 years.
She's been tearing it up in Masters Division, too.
She play Masters?
She's played some Masters.
She's a role model for all levels and all types of players.
Totally, just to take care of your body, to be effective for that long, to impart your wisdom to younger players.
And still delivering as a starter on
She
one
gets
of the best teams in the world.
Meaningful minutes in meaningful games. She is definitely not a bench warmer for courtesy.
No.
Alex Snyder out there looking deep straight away. Maggie Rudin giving chase, piles up, and Shira Stern climbs the ladder for the D.
That was incredible. Shira, height isn't necessarily her gift, and she was able to get up and over top that pile for the sky.
Maybe a shot that Alex Snyder would want back, but Shira Stern makes her pay for it.
Zonizer to Stern up the sideline, and then a foul on the mark there as Stern got hit by Cooper on the mark.
I believe a couple former U23 teammates talking over the call.
Stern gets it off the line to Zonizer. Verju. Johnson. Backhand knocked away. Great defense on the far side from Rudin. Tough window on that throw.
I don't know why you throw a backhand there.
Maybe keep the line.
But you're more likely to air bounce it with that release than a flatter flick. And then it'll float and it'll get blocked.
And that indeed is what happened. Rudin under as Fury gets back to their O-line.
Nice cut from Alex Snyder. Looked off, kind of got cut off by Lisa Cooper.
And a hand block on the far side. I believe that was courtesy of Maddie Gilbert. So Johnson will pick up for Riot with a chance for the break and a tie game. All the way around to Stern.
No continuation cut there from Riot.
Stern right back to Johnson. in a great position to throw into the end zone. Another mistake from Johnson as she throws a little too high. Maybe you put that on Molly McKeon as the cutter. Just should have jumped a little higher for it, but either way, it's a turnover back to Fury.
Someone who just knocked her for throwing a backhand in that situation. Flick was on point to me.
Great execution from Riot of one of their goals, which was Fury's fast break. They're looking for 1-2 unders and a deep, and Shira had heads up and was ready to intercept that. Even though the throw wasn't great, I believe she would have got the D regardless. Great run through catch.
Yes, great job by Zahnizer to make the catch.
Yeah, another point of emphasis from Idris Nolan was that he wanted his Fury defenders to be laying out more, and part of being aggressive on D was to lay out and try and get blocks. So they haven't quite turned it on yet today, but is looking for that as a sign of life in this game.
Lucy Williams swings it over to Johnson. Shot to the end zone is easily knocked down. Not sure what Jacqueline Verjou saw there. Alex Snyder had it the whole way. May have just not noticed the defender in the lane.
And I think a miscommunication with Molly McKeon. I believe that's who she was going for, but I'm not sure Molly knew it was coming.
Snyder looking for a reset. Dishes it off to Payne. Comes back to Snyder. She steps into a beautiful flick huck, but it's going to go a bit too far. And Katie Ryan not going to be able to run that one down.
Bit of a marathon point here, building up the mental stakes.
Johnson hits Stern up the line. Williams goes up line, but a call.
I'm noticing a lot of tight person defense downfield from Fury, and with a slight edge of pushing them deep, wanting Riot to throw the huck and then test them on it. So we'll see what Shira delivers. Oh, excuse me, what Lucy Williams delivers.
Andrea Romano on the mark for Fury. Williams holding. Johnson comes back for the around. And another high throw from Kelly Johnson. Struggling a little bit to keep those throws where she wants them. Maybe that's why she threw the backhand. Not feeling comfortable with that flick right now. And we got a timeout on the field as Fury wants to talk about it after a few turnovers in a row.
Yeah, you got to wonder if Kelly Johnson's a little shook by that swing throw. It's the third throw in a row to that space that she's turned.
And it's not particularly windy by any means like we saw in earlier rounds today, but there are tiny gusts and tiny pushes that I'd like to think are affecting Kelly's throws a little bit here.
So Fury back on offense. O-line, 4 turnovers now on the point. Looking to go in the upwind direction. It's more of a crosswind at this point, but the breeze definitely picking back up a little bit after being still at the start of the game. Payne dishes it off to Rudin. Rudin looking deep, but that's easy pickings for Jacqueline Verjou. The throw way too low.
Interesting
picks up.
Attack from Fury, who, while we know they're looking for fast breaks, we know they're looking for deep shots, it seems they're taking them regardless of what's set up for them downfield. Whether it be a tight person matchup like Jacqueline had, or if the person's open, it's going to go deep.
Verjou. Johnson. Stern. They've been chewing up the yards in the midfield here, but have struggled once they get to the red zone. Zahnizer. Now maybe a little bit of room, and she's into the end zone. Lucy Williams scores, and Seattle does get the break after all those chances, and it's 4-4.
Interesting switch from the forced middle look that they had before that was very effective, and then switched it over to backhand where Kelly Johnson, as started it, was able to work it all the way up down the far side, whereas before the flick was kind of hurting them. Interesting choice there. Nice pop-up throw. We'll see here. From Zahnizer to an easy clap catch to Lucy Williams.
It's possible they went backhand because the wind is kind of blowing toward the camera now and they want it on this trap sideline, but it's not that much of a factor. And like you mentioned, FM was looking pretty good for them.
And I want to just go back and take a look at the play that set up all the opportunities for a break. It was this sky by Shira Stern. Boom, over the pile to take
Well
it out of the
timed.
air.
Well-timed jump.
Just roofing 2 Fury defenders. Or
Offensive cutters, yes. 4-4 on serve. Bit of a slower pace to this game than the previous year. Hope you got a chance to watch the Brute Squad Revolution game, as Revolution came away with a 14-11 win. And it was an incredible game. Got to go back and watch it. If you aren't an UltiWorld full or plus subscriber, you can become one right now. Go to ultiworld.com/subscribe and you'll get access to that game. It is a must-watch.
You could make a full highlight reel from the first half of that game.
We might just do that. Yelena Gorlin goes up the line to Marika Austin. Austin up the line, and a great job. Good footwork there from Carolyn Finney, who sneaks that left foot inbounds and gets the quick hold.
Very tight defense from Riot, and if one of the downfield defenders had just turned her head, that probably would have been a poached D. I'm noticing a lot of tight four-side looks, really from both teams. Not a whole lot of using the wide 40 yards that they're given.
Well, Riot's trying, but they turn it when they do. But you're right. I think Fury is really committed to that under deep or under up line motif for their O-line to keep with their aggressive theme. I think if it ever stalled, they might try and go wide, but I think for the first few cuts, it looks like they're really emphasizing winning on the open side.
Going back to this Riot huddle, they are talking this time, and they are discussing what happened at that point. So I think it's a productive, not just a mental
Yeah, it looks like.
gain.
Speaking optional, but definitely happens.
We're at the National Sports Center in Blaine, Minnesota, and a sprawling complex of fields that can just accommodate a huge double ultimate tournament, as of course we have the U.S. Open happening today and the Youth Club Championships beginning tomorrow. So all told, over 100 teams here, and it's been great. Talked about this last game, watching the young high school age players, watching the top club players on the sidelines today as they prepare to compete over the course of the weekend starting tomorrow.
And the excitement is in the air. Every field has players watching, people taking notes, figuring out how they're going to apply some of this great ultimate to their games, and I know the players on the field are enjoying it too.
Rachel Bradshaw goes to the boundary for Nora Landry, who makes a great catch, hits Griffith up the line.
Yeah, under solid pressure from Mary Chang, Landry really had to finish that cut at full speed.
Kirsten Groover looks to the swing, not there. Now steps out, throws the flick out into the open space. Finds Bradshaw, but maybe a pick call. And that is the signal from the observers. Check back in, Groover. Up the line with Griffith.
They'll be going hard no around.
Griffith with an easy throw into the end zone. Maybe a little miscommunication there. And Julia Snyder with the goal for Seattle.
Same look, once again.
Yeah.
Same side of the field, same throws. If we see the replay, it'll be the same replay from before. It's just fourth side, working it up for both teams.
Yeah, you got to think Riot should make an adjustment, forcing out for the first few cuts and denying the up line from the handlers near the end zone. Maybe they're getting what they want because they are pretty tight windows, but if a team is effectively beating you one way, you got to try and make them do something else just to prove they can do it.
See that strike cut there.
These teams have both seen each other so many times. They know what they're capable of, and I think we're going to see the adjustments we're looking for to get a little bit more excitement in this game. And I bet it'll be coming up here in the next point or two.
Yeah. Something Idris pointed out to me was that Fury really hasn't beaten Riot in a pretty long time. He thinks it's been at least a couple years, which is hard to believe considering Fury was kind of Riot's boogie woman for a while. In terms of
Boogie person.
Boogie person, I like it.
That's true. I mean, you think back through all of the Fury Riot finals, and it was always Fury.
Mm-hmm.
Even when Riot had a 10-1 lead, it was Fury. Great.
I don't know
Just
if we
quick,
should talk about that.
very quick plug, Sideline Talk episode with Gwen Ambler. Talks a lot about that game. I would recommend listening to that
As a must listen.
and hearing about that comeback win. But yeah, you're right. In the last couple of seasons, Riot has clearly been the better team.
I think starting with that 2014 maybe World Finals in Italy.
Nazarov inside backhand. Now a big huck popped up from Lisa Cooper, and nice defense on the other end. Maybe just a little bit too much hang on that throw as Maddie Gilbert was able to take it away. Gilbert needing a reset and throws it to Molly McKeon, but she drops it. Tough start to this game for McKeon.
Yeah, an unusually high amount of unforced errors from Riot this game.
Swing around. Snyder.
This is prime for a Snyder around backhand.
And into the end zone. Nice cut there from Megan Liu. And San Francisco back in front. Take another look here.
Nice high release backhand from Julia Snyder.
But
Good looking out, Alex Snyder. Hitting the around
Did I
backhand.
say Julia? I meant Alex. Thank you.
No worries.
Aaron, you pointed this out last point. We just continue to see backhands up the line into the end zone from both teams.
And they look easy.
Yeah.
They look very easy, very unchallenged. I'm just waiting on the first team to force flick. And like we noticed earlier, it was effective, or it was an effective force against Riot before. The flicks were floating just too high. So not sure what the goal is with the current strategies, but like I said, great coaching out there. I'm sure we're going to get some adjustments.
Definitely. Andy Levsath, Idris Nolan, both very
And Maddie
experienced.
Sang has returned for Fury, which is always exciting.
Yeah.
And also fuels the campaign for Are They Back? Is this the year they'll take it all back into the Fury trophy case?
If he is the key to victory, though, they might be out of luck because he's not here this weekend.
So here's test number one.
Yeah, we'll see.
Fury set to pull. Riot collects. And a low pass hits the turf. Chang picks up, looking immediately to attack, but instead takes the reset to Finney. Back to Chang. Good opportunity for a break.
Beautiful.
Now looking deep, and a nice interception down in the end zone. Callie Ma. Paige Soper hits Sarah Davis. Now around to Stern. Verju.
Nice cut by Callie Ma, slipping Sharon Lynn.
Little poach, and Ma gets rid of it back to the center. And a call downfield.
This is the around swing that we've been waiting for, guys.
It is.
The call kind
didn't
of
wanna
ruined it,
curse
but
it.
they're open.
Big wide pass out to Fontenette, not quite in the end zone. Fontenette waiting patiently, takes the reset to Ma. And Ma was in.
Did that really advance? All right.
I'm not sure.
And that would be
that was
bookends.
odd.
Bookends for Callie Ma.
That's right. Great point for Ma. Had a really smooth strike cut to help keep flow alive. Take another look here. Well, just at the celebration, I guess. So, Ma hauled that one in. But honestly, that was odd because, at least from our angle, it looked more like Fontenette that was in than that Ma was in. But
Yeah,
perhaps that's
like,
just some tricks of the eyes.
A yard losing pass for Fontenette, but maybe it was a back foot thing.
6-6. Half coming up in a couple points at 8. Game to 15 today. The clock running, you see, is the countdown to the soft cap.
Not a whole lot in terms of twists from Riot this game on defense. We'll see if maybe they throw something out here. But it's been mostly person from them. Fury has gone with their FM. And even throwing that cup zone that Paige Soper threw the blade over, or kind of back shoulder flick. But maybe they'll save it for the point for half. But now would be a good time for Riot.
Pull goes up from Snyder, and it's going to trail well out of bounds. So Fury will take it at the brick. The interesting thing about this game is this matchup has so much history and meaning, and really just not a lot of energy in the game right now. I think that's the biggest thing. We haven't felt a lot of energy from defense. There have been some breaks, but we just haven't seen the intensity rise, and partly that's because we're coming off of a game that was intensity packed from the very start of the game in that Brute Squad Revolution game, but it's been a little bit of a just play it out here.
Yeah,
A hard grind.
There hasn't really been a spark. Sure, Stern had that great block for Riot in the deep space, but other than that, there's been no play to really fire up the sideline.
Snyder with a nice backhand. Swings it over to Romano.
So far, it's a great change of pace. Ooh, this point. Amy Kawhi with the run through D.
Amy Kawhi, the slightly lesser-known Kawhi sister, but making plays for Riot this year.
She comes underneath to start the offense. Goes to the sideline for Charlie Eady. And then it's intercepted back to Fury. Oh, and a great layout block from Serge Griffith. And there's the spark you're looking for.
Serge makes plays, baby.
That was quite a layout block. And now great position for a break.
Da-da-da, da-da-da.
Yeah, that's right. Cue up the hashtag SC Top 10.
Incredible field awareness from Griffith.
Edie swings out to the far side, not into the end zone yet. Swafford's got it, and she fires it in, and that makes it 7-6.
There's some intensity that we were looking for.
Spike
And
there.
from none other than World Games player, Sarah Serge Griffith.
Yeah, a couple of big plays on that point for Riot. Serge getting the big D, but you could noticeably hear the sideline volume increase during that point, and now Riot's out there getting hyped, and here they have the opportunity to take half if they can break.
Here's the block from Griffith.
What a heads-up play by Serge. Guarding Alex Snyder, but sees that Nazarov's kind of tunneling on that middle cutter, poaches off, lays out, and gets the big block for her team.
From the sideline angle, check it out.
No mark on Nazarov, maybe a false sense of security, but nowhere is
That's
safe.
an absolute next level play. There are few players in this tournament that would be covering a reset offensive player to be looking up to make a defensive play like that. Hence the World Games roster spot. Just absolutely incredible.
It's also pretty bold to leave Alex Snyder unmarked to go do something else, considering she's probably the best thrower on the field.
Well, if you have a chance, go check out an article from a few years ago about Serge Griffith and her defense. Just search on Ultiworld, and pretty much everything there still applies. You know, she's it's taken a couple years for her to get back from her injury, and she was playing at an incredibly high level at the time that article was written, and then it's been a couple years off, and now she's back in a big way. Had great World Games as we see the shot go up here.
Bethany Kaler to Marika Austin.
Drops it in, and a quick hold again for Fury.
That was a well-executed pull play. You could see them run the break side handler up line to clear up the shot to the wing, and the wing was shooting the middle cutter.
I am personally a big fan of Bethany Kaler, so it's great to see her out here playing with Fury, and here we get a chance to see it again. Huge backhand, full field, wide open space.
Yeah, good awareness from Alex Odie to come over there for help D. If Alex Odie isn't heads up on that hook, then the wing has the entire open side of the field to put the disc out into for the receiver to run onto. Still, put it pretty far left, and the help defense couldn't get there, so a well-designed play.
You wonder if Odie expected that from her former Oregon teammate.
Maybe. I mean, it doesn't really take much to make Beth huck it, so.
7-7, big point coming up.
I don't know about you guys, but I definitely feel the energy rising. We're starting to feel it. Fury was really pumped about that. Obviously, we said Serge made that incredible play. I think they're warming up to realizing, hey, this is a team we know. This is going to be a good game. Let's start playing like it.
Yeah, I think these teams are loath to be behind the other, so if they see one sideline get excited, they don't want to let the other one have the mental edge. So they'll definitely play up and down to each other.
Pull goes up from Kayla Jorgensen. It's going to sit up there and float down slowly. Soper lets it land, and she'll pick it up from where it lies.
Nice mark from Marissa Mead contesting the open side.
Kelly Johnson zips it over to Stern.
Sharon Lynn's right there on defense. Idris called her out specifically as someone he wanted to make a big play.
Huge layout, but can't get a piece of the disc. Dished ahead to Soper. Soper into the end zone, and Riot takes half, 8-7.
Great defensive pressure from Anna Nazaroff there. As earlier mentioned, that's one of their goals, you said, was to have them lay out more on defense, and Nazaroff is sure to deliver. While she didn't get it this time, I wouldn't be hard-pressed to believe she'll probably get it next time.
Yeah, and Nazaroff, a captain of the team, leading by example.
So Riot takes half. They're up 8-7 here at the break. We'll be back in just a couple minutes with the start of the second half.
Every time the pressure rises, we play better. Let's go take down the trail.
An Ultiworld subscription gets you closer to the players and personalities you care about with game video, in-depth written and video analysis,
He's going to take off deep, but what he does is very simple.
documentary shorts,
And we've played Bird Squad before, and it just feels a little bit harder to lose this year.
and a whole lot more. To get your subscription or learn more, go to ultiworld.com/subscribe. Welcome back to Ultiworld's live coverage of the 2017 U.S. Open, presented by the National Ultimate Training Camp. It's 8-7 here at the break. Seattle leading Fury 8-7. And guys, what did you think of this first half? Pretty back and forth. Had a couple breaks each way. Interesting, slow-burning, building game.
Definitely a grind until the last couple points. So I'm really hoping the halftime didn't put a lull back in these teams of slowing back down their game. I'm really hoping they amped each other up and are bringing their best to the second half.
I think there were a few more technical mistakes than we're used to seeing from two of the top four teams in the country, and a few kind of dogmatic strategic approaches. A lot of times. Speaking of technical mistakes,
Yeah, Kirsten Groover just airmails a pass and gives Fury an early break opportunity here in the second half.
but Fury's been pretty content to stay on the forced sideline, which could be a rough proposition if Riot decides to adjust their defense.
That was Alex Odie with the interception.
Fury back in their force middle that they were using earlier in the game.
Griffith near side. She zips one
Great bid by
over
Maggie
to Julia Snyder,
Marika
and now
Austin.
Edie. Big layout, but Julia Snyder
Injury.
able to make the catch, and Indeed.
Her body didn't quite cooperate with her on that bid, and it looked like her chest hit kind of hard, leaving her back without support.
Big bid from Mady Chang. Fury really bringing the intensity on defense to start this half. Unfortunately, Miri is down with an injury.
But she's able to stand up and walk off under her own power, so that's good to see. So she'll head to the sidelines. Ness Fajardo will take her spot on the field and check the disc in for Julia Snyder. Snyder around to Chyna Titcomb. Huck goes up, hanging, and it's going to be an easy block for Opie Payne. And just some speculative throws to start the second half for Riot.
Alex Odie with a second chance for a D.
And Odie,
good enough.
Pretty good defense there, able to stay in front and force Fletcher to try to make a play. Fletcher maybe went up a bit too early, couldn't bring it down. So back to Riot.
Yeah, I thought Fletcher had her. I thought Fletcher had the better position and maybe just couldn't complete the catch.
Cardenas moves it along. Now the Huck goes up, and it's going to go over the head of Groover and back to Fury. It will be Finney to pick up for San Francisco. Jorgensen. Nice cut there from Fletcher. Austin bends a backhand and a great catch to haul that one in from Fletcher, and she's in the end zone for the score.
Fletcher bailed out Austin a little bit there. If you're going to throw that shape throw, it has to be aimed more to the left. The angle she put it on, much better suited for a flat one, but Fletcher able to run down the trailing edge as we see here. It's going away from her, but she lays out, holds on for the score. Must have been those friction gloves.
Nice way to start this second half. Back level at 8. And we're going to try to catch you up here on some of the results from around the tournament. Of course, you can follow along with everything on ultiworld.com/live. Great place to watch the streams. Keep up to date with what's going on with live updating Twitter accounts. And all weekend our reporting and highlights will be right there.
Probably one of the biggest surprises from this round is that Denver Molly Brown is up 8-4 on Boston Brute Squad, the team that we saw take a big upset loss to Medellin Revolution last round. More in line with expectations. Uno is on serve with Iceni at half. And let's get around to the men's division. Get back to the men's division between the next
Sounds good.
point.
Catch up on those scores. It's about time to start looking at the standings as well, as teams jockey for position, looking for a spot in the semifinals after pool play completes tomorrow morning.
Something interesting this half from Fury particularly is some of the personnel. Like I mentioned, Bethany Kaler has made an appearance, and there's a couple other players on the field that didn't make an appearance in the first half that are now showing.
Kelly Johnson catches the swing pass from Fontanette and hits Lucy Williams. Williams to the end zone. Caught for the score. Bailey Zonizer and Williams have had a great connection. And it's 9-8, Seattle.
That what you were talking about with their wide lane game plan, right?
Showing back up.
Yeah.
Just a second look at that play. Just a nice away pass to an easy.
A couple other scores from this round. The male equivalents of these teams, San Francisco Revolver and Seattle Sockeye, are also playing. and it's 8-6 revolver at half over there. Ring of Fire is up 8-5 on High Five. Sub-Zero is up 8-5 on CUSB La Foda, the Italian team. Truck Stop up 8-7 on Ironside, and Patrol up 8-5 on Inside Rakit. No update on Johnny Bravo Clapham, but Pythagorean score-wise, you'd probably think Johnny Bravo is winning that one.
So make sure to tune in tonight to Ulti World for recap coverage of today's action as we get you caught up on all the divisions, all the teams. We'll have some more live stream pool play games for you tomorrow morning. And then our tape delayed coverage of the later rounds. We're going to have a men's semifinal and mixed coverage on Sunday. Maggie Rudin gets it up ahead to Lou. Big backhand fake from Snyder, and she steps into a forehand instead, and a great grab. Huge play in coverage.
That was a posterizing play.
That's Carolyn Finney, right, between two defenders.
Let's take a look.
Big flick after a fake from Snyder. Great catch for the score and double coverage.
Out jumps Kelly Johnson. Other defender doesn't really have as much of a shot. Great play by Carolyn Finney. Alex Snyder is shooting deep, but maybe not shooting the picture-perfect throws that she is known for. Just hanging them up there, giving her receivers a shot at the disc, but certainly not hitting them perfectly in stride.
Finney says, you know what? Doesn't matter what you throw.
I got this. The pace of this game is just mind-boggling to me. We've had 2 or 3 expecting points, and then we'll come out with 3 huge layout bids or layout Ds,
Right.
and then the next 3 points. Textbook. It's just such an interesting pace, especially compared to the previous game we watched, which was full of excitement point after point. Just such a contrast. I think these two teams are thinking teams. They're really big into the process. They're really big into the team strategy, and I feel like that's showing in this game.
Quick update. Johnny Bravo, undefeated so far today, beat Truck Stop earlier at 15-13 in one of the, I guess you can call that an upset, earlier in the day, and they're up 8-6 on Clapham right now at halftime. Inside break, gets it into the hands of Edie, comes back around to Swafford. Great undercut there from Griffith, under pressure from Lynn. Edie. Huge arcing backhand away from everyone, and ill-advised throw there. Fury takes over. The score seesawing back and forth in this game. Chance for Fury to again retake the lead. High pass intercepted as it goes over the head of the intended receiver. Cardenas looking to the end zone, and she overthrows the receiver, and a second effort bid comes up just shy.
The wind is a little deceiving. I'm sure on the stream you can see a little bit of movement in the trees and intent, but the gusts are more powerful than I think the throwers are giving it credit for. Both of those throws were just too high for their receivers.
Checked in.
Oh, nice cut by Marika Austin. Alden Fletcher doesn't hit her, but she got open.
Nazarov. Great inside backhand to Clancy.
Marika Austin is consistently open in her undercuts.
Marika Austin is a workhorse.
And Nazarov's huck up the backhand side looking for Sharon Lynn is too ambitious.
Certainly open with steps, but with Cardenas and Griffith following her for the defense. That's a trust throw to her receiver. Cassie Swafford.
Oh, and a pass hits the turf on a swing. near the Fury red zone, those can be the costly mistakes you can't make in a close game like this.
That's the around shot that they're looking for by forcing flick and trapping on this sideline.
Nazarov dumps it off for Chang.
Miscommunication on the switch between Lim and Julia Snyder.
Great catch by Fajardo, digging that one out, and she gets it into the end zone for Fletcher, and San Francisco goes back in front, 10-9.
I mentioned it earlier about Chang's deep game, but really so far this tournament, she's been an unsung hero for Fury, stepping into a big role for them, really filling in the handler spot well and being consistent, and then also being aggressive on defense, as we saw earlier with a bid from her. And I think we can expect big things from her this season going forward and in future years of Fury to come.
They're clearly pushing her into a role with greater responsibility, and she's responding to the challenge. I think, though they're winning right now, Fury is missing Claire Desmond a little bit on offense. She's
Absolutely.
such a threat deep that she's an easy outlet late in the count. Right now, Fury's had a couple of forced undercuts later in the count, and Nazarov a couple uncharacteristic turnovers. I think with that outlet that is Claire Desmond, Fury's offense ends up a lot cleaner this game.
It also creates space for them. They're not, while we've seen deep throws and many have been completed, it's not quite the same as pulling defenders out when Desmond's going deep, and I think we're also seeing the pains of that.
Yeah. Not to mention, she's pretty good at D when they do turn the disc over.
Every now and then she pulls out a few blocks.
Yeah. Fury's offense doesn't turn it that much.
Opie Payne set to pull.
Speaking of Opie Payne, Idris was mentioning that she's integrated well into the team by kind of taking a background role, but that he and I think most people know that she has a lot more talent in her than she showed and could really be a assertive force in the field. We'll see if she can make that change this game.
She's been exclusively covering Serge Griffith.
Yeah. Which is a great matchup.
Which is necessary, I believe.
Soper swings it over to Odie. Nice grab there to save possession by Swafford. Titcomb. Now a hawk from Landry, looking for Odie. And nice defense by Marissa Mead.
Odie missed a chance to put Mead on her back and box her out there. She should have taken the inside position and just put Mead on her shoulder, but Mead ran right past her. Great play by Mead. Missed opportunity by Odie.
Soon to attack the deep space here. Ooh, miscue from Kaler to Jorgensen.
Soper, 20 yards out. Griffith,
Surge.
Inside backhand. That Surge is right. That is a nasty throw.
Inner chest. No room for error.
Surge is fun to watch play.
Let's take a look at that again. And I think
There it is.
even Opie couldn't believe that one.
Oh, cut short.
Well,
well,
Soper
let's
slips
take-
to the backhand. Surge does a casual flick fake, and then
There
just
we
a
go.
powerful on point.
Here it is. A nice
the flick. Moves your
wide
mark.
step out.
Opie looks down thinking, how is that even possible?
Just no hesitation. Puts it with authority into this small window.
I will say there's been a lack of break side defense from Fury, and I'm all about the playing smart, trust your mark scenario, but there's been quite a few opportunities where they're just standing there and allowing throws like that are often tough for other players can be risky, and it would be interesting to see them tighten up just a little bit on the break side to make that even tougher for Surge.
True.
Verzu with the pull.
I think we're due for a Verzu Sky this game. We
Yeah,
haven't seen many of those yet.
that's fair. I think the chances of something amazing from Verju or Opie Payne are increasing by the minute.
And a chance now for Riot. Johnson
This could be it.
steps to the disc, looking to retake the lead.
Kelly Johnson could just do her best Angela Zhu and huck it to Jacqueline.
Instead,
Oop.
she opts to go to Maddie Gilbert. Gilbert, dangerous pass, but Johnson climbs the ladder, pull it down. McKeon gets it to Lucy Williams, along to Verju. Verju dishes to the upline.
Great use of the field by Riot in this half.
High release lefty backhand, and that will, it may not be a sky, but it's still a highlight. Verju puts it into the end zone for the Seattle break and the 11-10 lead.
She certainly makes that throw look easy.
Yeah, over the course of the college season, we've seen that throw really develop from kind of a shaky throw to something that she puts out there just silky smooth now into space for cutters, and helps that she's pretty tall. Kelly Johnson gets her the swing, and Verju just casual lefty backhand, sits perfectly into space.
Complete contrast from the first half from Riot, who was jamming it up the foreside. That they used it to the foreside, flipped the switch all the way to the high side, and it was effective.
Yeah, and they're hitting those swings now too, which is great. It's really opening up their offense.
So 20 minutes to the soft cap. Game to 15. A back and forth game. I mean, no team has held a lead for more than, I think, 3 or 4 points in this game. It's just been yo-yoing back and forth. Very, very exciting.
Yeah, it's what you'd expect to see, two top caliber teams playing at a meaningful event. I mean, it's not the end-all be-all, but it's an event that they like to win, especially against each other.
I just think the deep knowledge of these teams makes coaching that much more exceptional, that it's the most minute adjustment that they know they can make or they will have to make, and call that right matchup that's going to make the difference in the end.
Alex Snyder takes the centering pass, finds Fajardo.
That is Kaler in a Fajardo jersey.
You're right. Rudin. Backhand and taken away. Maddie Gilbert with another block. She has been all over the place on defense. And a chance for Riot to build a 2-point lead, but Verju doesn't quite communicate there with Soper, and it's back to Fury in the red zone.
Riot's horizontal game, kind of letting them down in this game. At least their swing passes and their resets. Not something that I would typically have faulted Seattle Riot for, but a lot of errors on those sets today. In the same vein, Fury's turning it over a lot deep, and I wouldn't normally have characterized them as a team that goes deep. I would actually say that the strength of their game is their horizontal game and their ability to change the point of attack effectively. So, strange things we're seeing out here.
Snyder. Backhand. Gets it to Katie Ryan. And the reset to Snyder. I don't even think Ryan believed that could be a turnover as she was running back to the stack. But Snyder dropped it, and it's back to Riot. Soper. Swing to Ma. And a huge
Fury putting
layout.
on their force middle on a turnover.
Zahnizer looking to Soper. Soper able to stay inbounds on the far boundary. And Ma makes the catch, and there may be an injury here, or certainly a pick or something.
An interesting collision.
Looks like it's going to go back to Ma.
Yeah, it looked like Inés Fajardo fell, and then Trey Romano tripped over her, and everyone got tangled up.
Soper hits Stern. And a nice extending grab there from Ma. Soper thought about the forehand, looked it off, now goes to the forehand looking for Verju. She'll catch it just outside the goal line. And now a little dish into the end zone, and it's another break for Riot, and they go up 2.
Back-to-back assists for Jacqueline Verju.
Verju's hard to mark near the goal line, just out of sheer size. She's comfortable with the soft technical breaks, and she's so tall that they're all available to her.
We've got lefty backhands. We've got righty backhands. Backhands for everybody.
Fury's O-line there setting force middle on a turn, trying to help them get the disc back. Fury's O-line was punished a fair amount by the Eurostars tour, getting broken when they coughed up the disc. Riot did a good job these last 2 points of making it count on their one possession. I can see why Coach Idris Nolan decided to throw in that defensive twist for a turnover. Didn't work, but it's good effort.
Fury offense now needing a hold to stay close and connected here with Riot. Trailing by 2. It's warmed up quite a bit here this afternoon after a chilly morning. Starting to feel almost hot in the sunshine.
Couple quick updates. Looks like Brute came back to tie it with Molly Brown at 9s. So they're having quite the game in the field next to us. And a few points ago, the men's comparative teams, Revolver and Sockeye, were tied at 10s. So we have some great games going around in the division.
Opie Payne fires it ahead and gets it to Fletcher. Payne looking for the reset but clears out. And now Fury sends it along to Finney. Finney inside break, not into the end zone, but Austin right on the goal line. And a call in the stack. And it looks like it's going to be stall 5 coming in here. And tipped and caught by Opie. And San Francisco gets the hold.
Vinny was firing up those hard, low inside flicks. Rory Titcomb-esque breaks. That one bobbled a little bit, but Opie Payne able to come down with it. Taking a look. Vinny fires in there.
Chest.
Yeah. Vinny Chang. A roller coaster of emotions in a few seconds of angry to happy.
It's good to see that Chang's injury wasn't too serious from the beginning of the game, and she's back out there on the field.
Definitely. She was out there running around again. Maybe just got the wind knocked out of her or something.
So Fury back within 1 after that hold. What final adjustments could we see in this game as the teams enter the home stretch here?
You know, I said it earlier about Riot trying something different on defense, and they haven't really done anything besides maybe vary the direction of their force. I mean, Fury has a lot of good handlers, but just trying to make them do something different could be the call. For Fury, I would like to see Opie Payne start playing more both ways and try and take a bigger role in the game. I think she certainly has the talent to get blocks and to be more of a featured initiating cutter. I think she's been a little underused right now, and I think she could be a big difference maker.
Fury's also slowed down their deep game a little bit compared to the beginning when they were matching up with what they were intending to do. So that'd be nice to see them bring that back.
Yeah.
Edie. Underneath to Laura Landry. Williams. Edie pump fakes. Good sideline to sideline movement here from Riot.
Good mark from Chang.
Snyder Edie backhand looking to the end zone, and again, a bit too much on it. She's had a couple turnovers like that one now. And Fury's got a chance to break back and tie it up.
Bit of a break for Fury there because Cardenas was relatively open to the open side cone. Not something that you should be giving up to an elite team or any team.
Stall count getting high. And essentially a free reset given there.
Fury not doing a good job of lining up their next isolation cutter.
Jorgensen hits Finney. Finney looking deep. She's got Marika Austin, and Austin won't quite get into the end zone, but she'll dump it off for Lynn. And now a slay out on the far side, and it's caught for the score. So it is tied up at 12.
That worked out, but Fury's stack handler spacing was a little disjointed there. They got it back together because Finney caught that long up line and made Austin a more viable deep cut, but until then the cutters were pretty far deep. Here you see Nazarov get the dish and just finish with the around backhand. Great layout grab by Marika Austin. Still doing all kinds of work for Fury this game.
So all tied up, 10 minutes to go till the soft cap.
Looks like Revolver is down 12-13 to Sockeye in an update on the equivalent to this game.
And again, you can stay up to date with all the goings on around this tournament at ultiworld.com/live. So, getting set here for the Fury pull. Kelly Johnson to Verjou. And Verjou's pass gets away from her, but Dominique Fontenette so heads up, comes underneath and makes the catch, although she is holding that left ankle, may have rolled it. And the wind picking up a bit here as everybody gets reset. Fontenette looks like she's all right. Soper, nice strike cut. She rips one across the opposite field, and Verjou's there to haul it in. And Riot gets a well-earned hold up into some suddenly gusty conditions.
Unconventional look from Soper there, but if you had to take that look to somebody, Jacqueline Verjou's a good person to aim at.
She has multiple national championships, both on the club level and the college division. Or excuse me, no, she's aiming for her club national championship.
Are we talking about Jacqueline or Paige?
Jacqueline.
Okay. I guess they both have the same situation.
Yeah, they
both
both
won college nationals and neither
they
is
are.
won club nationals.
Both are college national champions, looking to finally secure a club national championship with Riot. Should that happen?
See that.
Paige Soper starred for 2014 Ohio State Fever. For anyone who's wondering what we were talking about, they won the championship over, I believe, Oregon Fugue.
Indeed.
In the final. Cassie Swafford was also on that team.
Callahan winner. And Soper was their Callahan nominee the year prior.
Yeah, Cassie Swafford, a member of Riot, not here this weekend?
She is.
She been out there?
She's been
Have I missed
playing.
her? I just haven't called her name.
She's out there.
She is out there.
16?
Soper getting set to pull here. That was a great Ohio State team, by the way.
Yeah, they were great. Oh, I see.
Pull trailing down and caught by Finney. Megan Liu holding. Big gainer up the far side to Liu.
Great defense, forcing the handler upfield.
McKeon was in a great position to not only guard her mark, but also see the disc, and it was an easy poach block for her into that space. So Seattle with a chance to get to game point. Cardenas' throw doesn't connect with Johnson.
I'm sure she didn't expect that because the wind's been making that float this entire game, and she threw it the one time it decided to hit the ground.
Finney off the line.
Nice break off the sideline from Finney.
Now Snyder. Snyder
Incredible flick.
puts up the flick, but no one there to collect it.
Nobody home. Yeah, Fury's deep game. I appreciate that it's a point of emphasis for them, but it's kind of been hurting. They had at the beginning of the game, they were scoring a lot off of it, but Snyder just isn't quite there right now. Fury Chang is, but
We've seen a few throws like that from Snyder that look great out of the hand, but end up either floating or, in this case, going nowhere. Good hard fake opens up the around to Johnson.
good awareness from Finney to take a look out in the space to shut down the break cut and to take the extremely wide angle. Kelly Johnson was clearly looking for the swing.
Great use of lateral space from Riot at this point, really emphasizing both the force side and the high side.
Johnson to Soper. Soper looking deep and tipped and then caught on the second effort. And that's makes it a 2-point lead. And what a catch by Rachel Bradshaw.
Wow.
She about gave herself the assist there.
It's all about the stat sheet. Taking another look. Paige Soper puts out into space. Bradshaw, one hand up there. Probably could have used two, but hauls it in on that second effort layout. Someone's got to stoke the highlight reel.
That's one of those catches where afterwards you go, thank God I caught it. That would have been brutal.
This is just an incidental thought. I think this Riot team might have the most aggregate college championships on it in the women's division right now. Just from last thing, like Stephanie Lim won with Stanford, Sarah Davis won with Washington, Jacqueline
Julia
won with
Snyder won with Carleton.
Julia Snyder. Did they win?
I believe so.
I think they made
They
the
lost.
final
They
and
made
lost
the
to
fin-
Oregon.
They did? Okay.
Jacqueline Vergieu,
They were there.
Dartmouth, Dominic Fontenette more than once with Stanford, Cassie Swafford, Ohio State, Bailey Zanheiser more than once, Nora Landry, UW, Shira Stern maybe was on UW.
It would be a good exercise,
Yeah.
but it's certainly there in contention.
It's impressive.
It is impressive. Yeah. I mean, and I think that's why there's such high expectations for this team.
Always.
And it's not enough to get to the final for them anymore. I mean, clearly they're a tremendous program, and they won a world championship at World Clubs in Lecco, and that was a real highlight for their team. But they have not been able to get back on top at USAU Nationals in a long time now, but they've got a chance to win this game after Sarah Serge Griffith takes it away on the interception. Serge, a former counselor at the National Ultimate Training Camp, and a foul called on the throw there. Payne getting a bit too aggressive.
You hate to see that because the stall had to have been getting to the T and 10.
Yeah, Payne must be frustrated.
I think Griffith, I mean, for sure Payne is the best matchup for her, but Griffith has, I think, won the matchup. She's really had a great game.
Opie has been noticeably quiet this game. And back to Cody's mentioned before, seeing her take a bigger role, I think would be pleasing.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of time, really, because she had a big role for Scandal. She had a big role for Molly Brown. She just needs to find her place in Fury.
Nazarov off the line to Chang. Flip to Gorlin. Now Chang to Nazarov. Good end zone defense here from Riot. Nazarov now gets the easy one. So they had to work it back and forth a couple times, but eventually it opened up, and they got the free throw into the end zone. And that was Kaler on the goal.
Chang and Nazarov are quite the pair back there. Oftentimes this game, we've seen a few dominator sets from them, just swinging up the line until that cut is open downfield and the defender doesn't know where to go and which side, and very effective for this point.
It's great patience from
Seeing
Fury.
it again here. Meaty strikes up line. But yet Kaler was there a little bit more open for the easy pass and the goal.
So the soft cap about to go on. Unlikely to affect this game, although if we end up tied at 14, it could go into overtime.
Definitely a likely scenario.
I think the observers were just talking to the coaching staffs about this cap situation. I'm guessing that the cap went on officially during that point. Again, our clock is unofficial, and so that would make this a game to 16, hard at 16. So, of course, if Seattle scores here, the game is over. If Fury breaks, we go into overtime, and it will be first to 16.
Yeah, hard to 16.
So here we go. Fury pulling. Riot on offense to look to win. It'll be Johnson to pick up. Verju. Soper. Johnson to Stern.
Riot just comfortably up the open side right now.
Stern bounces back to Johnson. Fontenette. Johnson to the end zone.
Ooh,
and a great catch by Shira Stern in traffic. And that will do it. Riot takes it 15-13 over Fury. And it was just those pair of late breaks in a row that opened up the lead big enough for Riot to hang on, and see, with a great offensive line out there on that point, they did make it look easy.
I will say the biggest difference was the use of the lateral space. That's what both of these teams always are trying to do, is switching the sides of the field where the disc is, and Riot just seemed to do it a little bit better and came out with the win.
Yeah, a lot of execution mistakes from Fury. A few throws that Alex Snyder and Nazarov would like back. A lot of good things happened for them, but I think just a few too many mistakes to beat a team as good as Riot. Like you mentioned, their use of lateral space is something they try and do a lot, but maybe didn't optimally do it today. A little stuck on the force sideline. But two teams clearly in the same elite caliber. Riot just comes out on top in this one.
And yeah, I mean, of course, we've seen these teams playing close games for years now, and do you take anything away from this game about their future potential at the national championships in October?
I think there's just big room for new role players to continue to develop that could make a big difference. Again, for the third time, Meaty Chang for Fury is someone that's clearly stepping in to an important role for them, and if she continues to develop, she could be a game changer if she has the opportunities for them. That could result in a different score with more backhands and more big throws for her. On Riot, maybe that's somebody different. Maddie Gilbert is somebody for them that is making D after D after D. She was the B block of the month for us, and here she is making 2-3 blocks this game. So that's a game-changing opportunity for her. And if these young players continue to step up, I think we could see something different the next time they play.
And the play of the game presented by a glimmering wreck is this layout block from Serge Griffith off the poach in the handler space. Tremendous effort there from Griffith, who had a great game. So that's the final here. Seattle takes it 15-13 as the teams talk it over in the Spirit Circle after the game. Thanks so much for joining us. This will conclude our first day of U.S. Open live coverage. We've got more reporting coming up in the final round of the day. That will do it for our live video coverage. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Let us know how we can improve. If you enjoyed it, let us know that as well. You can tweet at us at UltiWorld. You can email us, editor@ultiworld.com. Again, if you want to get access to these games after they have aired, please get an UltiWorld subscription. It does a lot for us. Of course, you get great benefits as well. Access to video, exclusive articles, a brand new Sideline Talk podcast, and a whole lot more. So check it out, ultiworld.com/subscribe. Some really tremendous games today. More to come tomorrow. We're back first thing, 8:30 a.m. Central Time. We get things going with day 2. Hope you'll join us then. For our entire broadcast crew, Aaron Ogren, Cody Mills, I'm Charlie Eisenhood, signing off here in Blaine, Minnesota.
Every time we touch the license, we play better. Let's go take down the trail.
An UltiWorld subscription gets you closer to the players and personalities you care about with game video, in-depth written and video analysis,
He's going to take off deep, but what he does is very simple.
documentary shorts,
And we've played Beard Squad before, and it just feels a little bit harder to lose this year.
and a whole lot more. To get your subscription or learn more, go to ultiworld.com/subscribe.